Hello friends and welcome to Raven Fed. Today I want to talk about managing chronic illnesses during times of stress. These are difficult times for us right now. We are more sedentary, being sheltered in our homes. It is easy to start breaking into the quarantine snacks and comfort ourselves with some unhealthy eating. It's easy to fall into bad habits during this time. But if you have a chronic illness to manage, it is really important that you care for yourself during this time. I have two chronic illnesses that I live with. I have endometriosis and I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is an autoimmune condition. I've been working with an incredible functional medicine doctor for 3 years now, and I feel like for the most part, both of these illnesses are well under control during normal times, but we're not in normal times. And I am finding myself with a lot more symptoms than I usually have. I'm finding myself with a lot more stress, and I'm finding myself really having to be very intentional about taking care of myself. And I figured if I was going through this, then some of you were as well. And so when we talk about spiritual practices to help us through tough times, sometimes caring for our bodies is a spiritual practice as we practice being embodied souls, incarnated souls, souls and bodies, bodies and souls connected together. So I wanted to give you 5 or 6 tips about ways that you can care for your chronic illness during this stressful time. The first tip is exercise. I know that the number one thing I can do to feel better is to exercise regularly. And it can be very difficult because 2 of my main symptoms are crushing fatigue and brain fog. And both of those make it really hard to want to, first off, make the decision to exercise, because with the brain fog, it's hard to think clearly. And then second of all, with the fatigue, to be able to motivate myself to get up and do it. And I struggled with this for a long time, but then I just decided I'm going to do 30 minutes on the treadmill every day. I'm not going to put a distance limit on myself, but I can do 30 minutes a day. And I don't care if it takes me 30 minutes to walk 1 mile on the treadmill or less than a mile. If I am really struggling with fatigue, if I'm having severe joint pain, if I'm having severe abdominal pain from the endometriosis, I just want to get myself upright and moving. Some days I can run for 30 minutes. Some days I have to sit down and take a break halfway through a 2-mile-an-hour walk during that 30-minute time. So it's important for me to move, because I know that the more I move, the less fatigue I feel, which seems oxymoronic or contradictory, but it is the case for me that the more physical I get, the better I feel and the less fatigue I deal with. I think part of that is when I exercise, I sleep better. And when I sleep better, it means that I don't have as much fatigue and brain fog the next morning. But it does mean that I have to really make a concerted effort to get up and walk. A second tip that I have is to eat well. And we all have to eat differently depending on what chronic illnesses that we're dealing with. If you have heart disease or diabetes or fibromyalgia or thyroid issues like me, or whatever your particular issue is, there might be an eating plan that works best for you that you should talk to your doctor about. I know that for me, between the endometriosis and the thyroiditis, I feel the best when I am gluten and dairy free. That really works for me. It lessens my joint pain. It lessens my abdominal pain to not eat gluten or dairy. I know I feel better when I eat lots and lots of plants every day. I know I feel better when I eat healthy, lean proteins and lots of healthy fats like avocados and olives and nuts and things like that. It's important during times of stress to really watch what you're putting into your body, because stress eating is just so common for all of us. It's really easy right now for me to hit the potato chips and the Easter candy, but I know when I eat those things, I physically feel worse, and I emotionally feel worse too, because the emotional eating doesn't really solve any problems. It just masks them for a short time. So work with your doctor. Think about what foods work best for your body. Get to know your own body and what you need, and eat well for your body. You need to nourish yourself. You need to nourish your body, nourish your machine so that it can work with you and for you. A third tip is to get plenty of sleep. Being stuck at home does have one advantage, and that means we can all take naps a lot more regularly. And I've been doing that. Every day almost, I've been laying down and taking a nap for an hour or two. I think as our bodies process the stress and the grief of what's going on in the world around us, even if we're not, thinking about it, we're still dealing with it emotionally, and that can feel really exhausting. So our bodies need a little bit more care. But for a lot of chronic conditions, sleep is essential. The average adult needs 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, and that might work for you. But if you have a chronic condition, you might need more than that. And so really, for this time in our lives that is less structured and scheduled, see if you can play with your sleep patterns. Go to bed a little bit earlier. Maybe see if you can wake up without an alarm, and what pattern of sleep, what rhythm your body falls into when you don't have the same kind of time pressures that you do with a regular work schedule and a commute and all of that. Maybe your body will teach you how much sleep you do need every night. And if you need to nap, take a nap. Sleep is a huge benefit for all of us with chronic illnesses, and is a really important way for us to help manage them. My fourth tip is to take your meds, take your supplements, whatever you and your doctor have worked out as your regimen for managing your illness, keep it up. It is very easy during times of stress to let that sort of thing slide, to neglect to take your meds or to put it off, or, with chronic stress that we're all feeling right now, sometimes there's some nausea that goes along with that. So we don't really want to take our vitamins and supplements on an icky tummy. But really, it's important to continue your recommended medications, whether they're pharmaceutical medications or whether they're supplements or vitamins, whatever it is that you have worked out with your doctor. And keep up on that, because that is one of those supportive measures that will make sure your body is getting those vitamins that it needs in order to do its best. Your medications, whatever they are, keeping up on those. The consistency is a big key to some of our medications that we take for chronic illness to work. And so it is sometimes the hard work of self-care to take your meds even when you don't feel like it. And sometimes it's as simple as setting the timer on your phone to remind you to get up and go do it. And the motivation to just get up and do it, and drink a big glass of water while you're at it. So that tip is continue your meds and supplements. Continue the regimen that you've worked out with your doctor. Don't let it slide. Keep up on it. It will really be supportive to all of your body's functions. My fifth tip is kind of a hard one right now, and it is manage stress. We have stress coming at us from all angles right now. We have anxieties and worries in the world around us for our physical health, for the health of our loved ones, for our communities, for our businesses, for our children, for our employers, for our employees. There's just so much stress right now that it is really, really key to manage it properly. And some of those earlier tips are parts of the ways that we manage stress. Sleeping well, taking our medications, exercising are all excellent ways to manage stress. But you might have some other things that you do to help manage stress, whether it's taking a walk, whether it's having a cup of tea, whether it's talking to a particular friend, whether it is leaning into your spiritual practices, whether it's prayer or meditation, whether it's crafts or arts that help you enter that state of flow and sort of get out of the worries of the world for a little while. Really lean in to those things that bring you life and help you manage stress. We do have so much coming at us right now that it's important to do everything you can in order to healthily manage the stress in your life. And my last tip, and I say this as I'm sitting here in the glorious Alaskan sunshine, is to get outside. I'm dressed to go for a walk, and as soon as I'm done filming this video, I'm going to head out to the beach because the sun is shining off the water right now, and it is just a glorious day. For all of us who have shelter-in-place orders, they almost all include a provision that you can go outside and take a walk and get some fresh air and play outside as long as you're maintaining your social distance. So do that. Get out in the fresh air, breathe it in deeply, soak in the sunshine and top off your vitamin D. Listen to the birds, watch the scenery go by, and get outside and just, sometimes I feel like getting outside of our houses is kind of the same as getting outside of our heads, that we can see things from a new perspective, that we can get a sense of perspective when we see God's big world around us. If you are managing a chronic illness, you are already an absolute superhero for getting through your life, managing a chronic illness, being a parent, an employee, a spouse, whatever it is that you do. If you do that with a chronic illness, you are a rock star. And right now, during this COVID-19 crisis in our world, it is more important than ever for you to take care of yourself. So do everything you can through exercise and nutritious eating, getting plenty of sleep, taking your meds and supplements, managing your stress, and spending time outdoors to care for yourself. Because you know that you can't care for others if you don't care for yourself first. I hope these tips help you if you are managing a chronic illness during this stressful time. If you have other tips that help you out during stressful times, leave them in the comments below so that we can share with each other as community tips and tricks that we use to keep ourselves healthy, even in times that are as difficult as these. I'm so glad that you joined me today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. Okay. Let's see if one take did it. It's so sunny out. Oh my gosh, it's so bright. See how bright that is? Oh, I love it. I gotta get outside. It's gorgeous.